Welcome to Three Voices Unfiltered, where no topic is off limits and everything gets real. Join us,
Ranisha,
Teresa,
Suzanne, as we dive into hot topics, share our wildest experiences, and bear our honest opinions and thoughts. Buckle up, because with us it's always raw, always vibrant, and absolutely unfiltered. Welcome. Hello, everyone.
hello.
Hey,
Teresa.
Ranisha.
hey Renisha.
Hey, Teresa. Hey, girl. Hey.
Welcome to Three Voices Unfiltered. We're having another fun episode planned, and this one is called Hypothetical Huddles. So we're going to be asking each other hypothetical questions and see where we go with it. We have no idea, but let's start.
Let's start.
All right.
Let's start.
So
Okay.
I'm going to start with the first question. I wonder if I should say like contestant number one. This is your question.
You can. You just did.
I know, right?
You just
I think I just said it. Okay. So our first question is, if you could travel to any historical event, which one would you choose and why? Ranisha, I know you're ready to answer this.
Oh, okay. If I could go to any historical event, it would be in December 31st, 1988, when Prince unveiled Paisley Park for the first time. I was 11 years old, and of course I couldn't go because my parents like Michael Jackson more than they like Prince. So that's a whole nother story. However, I've seen footage of it. It was showing, glamour, glitz. And the first time he unveiled this $1 million mansion that became his home, his studio. He served filet mignon, he served shrimp, he had all kinds of beverages, and his mom and dad was in the audience when he performed. So I would have loved to have experienced that for myself.
That's pretty cool.
That's neat.
That's pretty specific.
And I know
too.
a lot about it because I researched and I listened to interviews of people who were there and talked about how grand it was. And of course he performed, and it's like performing in your hometown. It's like that thing where I've made it, and I want to show you I've made it. I'm in my hometown and I've made it, and all my friends and all my family were here celebrating, and all other people. And to get in, the ticket was $100.
Wow. 1988.
In '88, that was a lot of money.
Wow.
That's a lot.
It was $100 to get in.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's a lot.
it was a grand thing.
But tickets were really kind of expensive back in the day, because I remember I was in New Jersey back in the 80s and the Jacksons were performing at the Meadowlands. And those, I don't remember what the ticket price was, but it was ridiculous. But I came up with the money. And
Oh, you went?
And I went, yes!
How old were you?
It was Michael Jackson. I was probably in my
20.
late 20s, early 30s. No, I was in my early 30s. But I wanted to see the Jacksons. It was the Jacksons,
Yeah,
Tino,
that's
Marlon, all of them.
That's
So,
one
yeah.
regret. I never saw Michael Jackson.
too.
Yeah,
I would have loved
It
to
was
have seen
good.
him.
It was really good.
Yeah.
And it was in the summertime. The weather was good. Seats were okay. It wasn't in the nosebleed section, but it was really expensive. I remember that.
That would be a good one. Teresa, do you want to answer and just disclose, you don't have to answer the question. You can say pass. I'll do the next one.
Well, no, I'm going to answer the question
Go ahead.
because mine is going to be real short and simple, okay? Repeat the question again.
Yes, ma'am. If you could travel to any historical event, which one would you choose and why?
Okay, I don't have a specific historical event, but I would want to have gone anywhere Jesus was as an adult. Okay.
Like the Holy Land.
I just wanted to.
And all those
I wanted to
travels.
be one of those people that was sitting in the audience and just listening to Jesus talk. And if I had the opportunity to ask him a question, the question I would ask him would be to thoroughly explain to me, as if I was, 5 years old, the Trinity.
That's a good one.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, because I think talking to Jesus would have been like really cool,
That would've been
So
interesting.
that would have been really cool. So
And it may have been perplexing because a lot of the stuff that he said to his disciples, they were cross-eyed, like, what did he just say?
He spoke in parables.
He spoke in parables.
So, but how he rebuked people so lovingly, the way he treated people. Yeah. So you could have asked him that and got a direct answer, but in a very loving way.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, I would understand it. You know, I would get it. You know, I think I kind of get it now, but we're not going to go into it. But I would want to hear it from Jesus.
Yeah,
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Thank you.
What about you, Suzanne? And I thought about it. We said historical event. That's a historical event for me.
It's politics or
it's war. Not like I want to go and see them sign a Gettysburg Address or something. That's historical.
How about when I'm going blank. Some of the addresses, like
I said, the Gettysburg Address.
I'm trying to think of Martin Luther King or something like that.
That was such a tense climate.
It was.
Yeah.
It would have been. But it would have been cool to be like in the background hearing and then being part of that, like experiencing it and say, I was there. I think that would have been cool, but.
I think it depends on what race you choose to go back as. I think for a black person in the 60s during all that, it was tough.
It would have been tough. Yeah. It
may
have been scary.
I get the spirit of what you're saying. Okay, just to hear Dr. Martin Luther King.
Yes.
Like there in front of you, and he is speaking.
Like you could tell your grandchildren, I was there.
Yeah, okay, I get it.
Cool.
I get it. I understand.
That would be really cool.
I would like to be at the I Have a Dream speech because that was historical.
Yes.
You know, but the marches,
no.
I don't want to go to any of those.
Okay, so you wanted to be, and she wanted to be in Washington, D.C., okay, somewhere around the monument, listening to...
That would have been cool. Yeah. But my historical event, I'm just saying because she was picking Prince, and we didn't pick, I didn't pick anything famous, although that was famous.
Yeah.
I didn't, my event will be historical to me, but it's not a famous event. So I've always been curious about my grandfather and how he grew up and his early years. We don't really know a lot about that. Wow. So I think it would be really cool to be present during that time. He was a black man in Puerto Rico that married a white lady in the 1930s.
Wow.
Yes, and he had money. He was rich. So that's very odd, and I would want to know what happened, what transpired. But he was a hard worker, so I know a lot of it came from his hard work. But thinking of his race and the time, there had to be maybe somebody helped him. I don't know. I want to know the story. So I would want to go back there and be a detective and find out.
Wow. Yeah, that's a really good one.
That's a good
How
one.
did he get to be where he was? Yeah, and how it all transpired. So that would be mine, because we don't know.
But you know what, I'm going to tell you this to expand on that. You know, this is a little bit of a tangent, is that back in the early 2000s, I had started doing some genealogy on my family. And then I kind of picked it up again this year, and I'm going to really follow through because like you said, Suzanne, I mean, I went back to the 1800s and wait a minute, and listen, and my cousin pointed out, you know, because I went back to a great grandmother on my father's side, and it was like in the 1850s census report. And my cousin said, do you know that was slavery back then?
Yeah.
So Suzanne, to, you know, like I said, to piggyback off of that, maybe, you know, we can do a podcast on genealogy.
That would be fun.
Okay. And not so much, you know, and we can talk about our
individual experts to help us.
That's what I'm saying.
If we can talk about experts out there that want to give us a hand, reach out to us. That would be fantastic.
That would be great because the thing about it is that we can talk about our individual, heritage, but let's talk about like the process, okay, to help others. You know what
that
I
would be
mean?
really cool.
I like
to
that.
start, look at them, because it's like, for just so everybody can know, for Black people back in the day, they did not talk. They did not share. Well, let me speak for my family. Those people did not talk, and they did not share a lot. And how I found out the information that I found out was because I went to the library. I got old newspaper articles. I got death obituaries, I should say, and things like that. But it's a whole.
You have to do some legwork.
Yeah,
you have to do some legwork. And
So you don't know what you can find, Suzanne, if you go back and look at old newspaper articles and different things like that about your grandfather.
Really cool.
Okay, because I'm quite sure that wasn't an anomaly back in that the 1930s. Okay, and they probably have articles and
he was born in the late 1800s.
Wow.
And so it would be so interesting to find out. But that'll be I can research, and I found some things, and there's a little bit of a paper trail, but there were no birth certificates back then. They had baptism records.
Oh, wow.
So but that would be a fun one to do.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
I've been doing some research on my father's side, and I found like my 5th great grandfather, and they're from Wilmington.
Wow.
And they own land and stores and things in Wilmington.
Curious.
And I don't know if you guys remember, back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, Wilmington was a big hub for Black entrepreneurs. But then there was the Wilmington Massacre, where they came in, wiped them all out, and I'm like, wow, my family was there in that area.
Right.
Prime real estate.
Yes.
Beautiful beaches, owning all that land, but they all got wiped out.
So technically,
and they moved.
Some of that land could be in your...
One of my great-grandfathers had 75 acres.
Yeah.
Of land, but they moved, they left, and came to Pitt County and Greene County.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So please forgive us for going off on a tangent.
I know,
but this is what we do. This is Unfiltered.
It's called what? What's the title of this show?
Unfiltered.
All right. Next.
The next question is: imagine you could instantly master any skill. Which one would you choose, and what would you do with it? Teresa, we'll start with you.
Okay.
If I need to think about this for a minute.
Okay, I thought about mine. Mine's is pretty simple again. It would really be the English language. Okay, because I like words. Words are very interesting to me. And how I would use it is public speaking. Before I retired, I was an HR manager, and I did a lot of seminars and things of that nature, so I have experience with it, but I'm talking about maybe on a larger scale, you know what I mean? Not just teaching or advising or, those type of things. I'm talking about on a larger scale, just to do some public speaking.
That's
because
good.
I have a tendency to be kind of self-conscious when I am speaking. And I want to make sure that when I am speaking, I'm not doing the okays and the ums and the ahs, and just to really communicate, with the target audience, and they understand exactly what I'm saying without me having to, number one, use big words or words people don't understand, because I'm trying to, sound intellectual or whatever.
Right.
But just to connect with people on that level.
That's a good
so
one.
just mastering the English language and public speaking.
I would say
That's
public
good.
speaking would be a great skill to have, because I'll remove the public. I would say an eloquent speaker.
Wow. Yes.
I would like to be an eloquent speaker, and not just for the public, but even a one-on-one, where you can speak to someone and understand what they're saying, and so that's a good one,
That's a good
Teresa.
one.
And kind of improve your communication skills.
Right.
That would be a really good one.
Yeah.
I know a great
Manish.
coach, because I work with a
Oh, that's
speaking
right.
coach.
Yes.
She's a great one, so I'll give you her
Oh, yeah,
information.
give us her information. What would you do? What would your skill be?
My skill would be to get things done and warp speed.
Oh, you want to be Flash?
I want to get, yes. But I don't want to run all over the place aimlessly. I want to be on my computer typing, and it's done. I want to talk to my employees quick, and it's done. I want to do things faster. So, but because I don't know why I want to do things faster, but I feel like it takes me so long to get things done.
Wow.
So I want to do it
But
faster.
you know what, Renisha, I'm going to tell you this, right? In my older age, I want to do things slower. I really do.
Really?
Because I used to find myself zipping around.
I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean? And so now I have learned to just, it's not that serious. If it don't get done, oh well. But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so
you know what I mean?
I'm writing my book, and it's taken me. I started writing it a year ago.
I've been writing a book for 20 years.
Okay, when my
And it's
coach
still not finished.
told me I needed 70,000 words,
Wow.
and I looked at I had 6,000, and I thought I was done. She was like, "No."
Yeah, I started a book and I would love to finish that.
Yeah.
book.
Well,
That's
a
my
book does
goal.
not have to be this thick. You know what I
No,
mean?
it doesn't.
It really doesn't, because a lot of people these days, everybody wants information quick and in a hurry.
That's
you know what I
true.
mean?
Mhm.
And so I'm telling you right now, for me, if it's like this, I'm okay. I'm good.
Like
I'm
quick
good with it.
reads. I like to
Quick
make a
reads.
quick read.
Yeah, yeah. And so long as you get the contents of what you
Yeah.
want, Renisha, and you feel comfortable with it.
Mhm.
If it's 150 pages, that's what it is. If it's 700 pages, that's what it is.
That's how I felt.
Yeah.
So.
But they said no.
But they said no.
She
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh.
"No, ma'am, you need more.
Oh.
It's not enough information. Go back." So then I have to go back. But yeah, I want to do that fast. I want to do major things on my to-do list faster.
Mm-hmm.
I got you.
Maybe
you
the
do
goal
lists?
could be-
Wait a minute. You do lists, Renisha?
I do lists now because I can't
Oh.
remember anything.
I do lists, y'all. I love
I
me
do
a
I do
list.
some lists.
I
I
do
do
lists.
do a list
I do.
sometimes.
I do
I
lists.
do. I do lists. I have to, because I'm this type of person, I don't know what you call it, that I feel a sense of accomplishment when
Absolutely.
I
Cross it
when I
off.
can cross it off. Well,
Yeah.
I do it in my phone, so when I color code it, and it's done, I felt like I've been productive, and I've
Yeah.
been like that for years. You know what I mean? I don't.
I do
It's
lists.
called something,
Yeah.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
It's
People?
just called organization.
OCD.
You think so?
Not OCD.
She called me crazy. No, I want to play.
No.
Right.
OCD is not that.
No,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
not
OCD. Actually, like
It's
I
not.
like things
I'm not.
my way.
Yeah.
It
You
has
like
to
things
be
orderly.
orderly. Don't touch my stuff. Like
Very organized. I am
have-
very organized too.
I've become-
I'm not that
organized.
organized. I'm not gonna
as
say. You
organized.
can see the back of my office. You all can't, but it's not greatly organized. My thing is that if stuff is not organized, it stresses me out.
Yeah.
I get anxiety, so I need to have my things, or like those offices that you walk in and their stuff is all piled. I
yeah.
couldn't function like that.
I
But
just like
Yeah.
a sense of confusion to me.
it
That's
stresses
when
me
we
out.
worked together, we had everything, the files
Yes.
had labels and you would come up with different things every day. Like, now we're going to put this color coded thing in the
Yes.
files to separate this from them. I'm like, okay.
But
I
organization
like
makes your
it.
life easier.
It
To me,
does.
Yeah.
it just does.
It
you
just
know?
I want to find something. If I'm looking for something, I want to know exactly where to go the first time and find it. I don't want to have to dig and look and
Yeah.
go through drawers, and I don't want that. But
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. That was a good one.
That's
That
a
was
good one.
Well, we haven't asked you. Have we asked
Yeah,
you?
my skill.
Yeah, we need to ask you.
No, I think I would like to have wisdom.
Okay.
I think
you
I would
can
like to
have
be
that.
a wise. Thank you, but I would like to be a wise person to be able to, because if I want the wisdom of Solomon, like
Mm-hmm.
everything
You-
makes sense of everything, dissect everything, be able to interact with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, I just want to be wise. I think if I'm wise, organization will come, speed will come.
I think
I don't know, but I
it's
think
so many like levels of wiseness.
Yes.
Like, do you want to be wise in how you deal with people, how you live your life?
I think like in general, like
Okay.
life.
Just
Yeah.
So if
Okay.
someone
Wisdom.
comes to me and asks, like I see those movies where, you know, a child will go to a parent and parent with a problem and their parent will spit out like this wonderful advice.
Yeah.
I want to be that.
Mhm.
I want to do that.
Well, God says He gives wisdom liberally.
Mm-hmm.
You
So
just
I
have
wanna
to
do
ask
that.
for it.
Like I think hard when somebody's telling me a problem or should I say? I want to say something really wise right now. And sometimes you're like, I want that. I want to be able to, and then for my own self, kind of to learn and grow personally and things like that. So I think I would like the gift of
Yeah.
wisdom.
Okay, I
I
like
think
that.
we all can use more wisdom.
I think that would be fun. Interesting, fun, and applicable.
Yes.
All right. So these questions are about dinner parties and guests. These are kind of like cliche hypotheticals, but we're going to do it. So if you could invite any 3 people, living or dead, to a dinner party, who could they be? Who would they be? And what would you serve? The serve part is kind of interesting.
Yeah, the serve
Okay.
part.
What would you serve? I know you have your answer, so you can.
I have my answer.
She says
yes.
she has her answer already.
Okay, so 3 people, right?
Mm-hmm.
First one again would be Jesus, to talk to him in a casual setting. Michael Jackson, because I just believe he is fascinating, and Donald Trump.
That's
I want to have a conversation with
that
him.
I would want to be in that
Mix of folks.
dinner party.
Yes.
It's a collective.
But and I know the
Can I go
question.
too?
Wait a minute. I know the question is dinner party,
goodness.
but my setting would be super casual. You know, I mean, just super casual. And don't laugh, you know, maybe even like a pajama party type thing, because we're going to be talking. We're going to be talking.
You want Jesus in pajamas?
I want Jesus in his robe. I want
want
Jesus in his robe.
No, I imagine Donald Trump in his
Oh
pajamas.
gosh, yeah. And
don't
what I
think
would
about
serve, what I would serve would be y'all so silly. But I would. And I'm trying to keep this generic. What I would serve would be like really simple. I would have like a variety of different type of fruits, especially exotic fruits. You know, different fruits from around the world. I would have like homemade breads and homemade soups, things of that
That
nature.
sounds pretty
you know.
tasty. Sounds good.
And then I would have all kinds of vegetables, cooked vegetables, raw vegetables, just keeping it really, really casual and really, really.
So are you imagining this dinner like in the fall or winter?
Yeah, in the fall would be
Okay.
nice. Okay, that would be really nice. Sometime in
Toasty
November.
flannel pajamas.
Yeah, sometime in November. Yeah, you know.
A
Yeah,
pumpkin.
and we would sit around, and we would
Coffee and
just,
tea.
waters, and we would just talk. We would just
That'd be
talk,
fun.
and I don't drink, but, I would have wine available.
So would you have a specific question for each one or
Okay, Jesus, I told you I would ask Jesus about Trinity. but No, I would just want Jesus just to talk about just, life on this side. You know what I mean?
I would want to know about life on the other side. Honestly.
That's true.
Because, my questions would be, what is the ultimate expectation, of us as humans? You know what I mean? Here, things like that. Michael Jackson, I would just shoot the breeze with him. Whatever question comes up, we just come up.
Jump on it for me.
And I would want him to be so comfortable that he just he just feels comfortable.
I'm thinking
to
with
talk.
Donald Trump on one side and Jesus on the other. Do you think he's
That-
comfortable?
I think
That's what
Donald
he needs
Trump
to
would
be.
leave.
Yeah. And then with Donald Trump, I just would want to know. I just want to know what motivates him to behave the way he does and to say the things that he says,
Yeah.
things of that nature. That's, and like I said, I would want it, it would, the way I would pose the questions would not be confrontational.
Right.
Because that would be triggers for him. You know what I mean? And before I would get all prayed up, right, y'all, before I start talking.
You got
to him.
Jesus
Okay.
there, so he
Because
can
I got
That's
okay.
He give me like peace be still.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I would want to pick his brain, and I would, and hopefully, he would just be honest, be honest, because, he would be honest because there is something going on, to have him behave the way he behaves. And if he was just to be honest, with himself first as he's talking, to us in the group, because remember, we sitting around, we drinking wine, well, they drinking wine, and we eating cheese and then bread and soups and stuff, so.
It might be loosened up.
It might loosen, yeah, but that would be it.
That would be your 3 people?
Mm-hmm.
That would be my 3 people.
Cool. How about
That's
you?
good.
What's your 3 people?
My 3 people would be Michelle Obama, Oprah Winfrey, and Tyler Perry. Those are my 3 people.
Interesting. Any specific reason why?
They all know each other.
That would be a fun one, actually.
They will be very comfortable. But I just like how they grew up. I like how they persevered through their humble beginnings.
Mm-hmm.
They all have different stories. I mean, look at Oprah's story. Broken home and all the things that she went through. Look at Michelle Obama, mom and dad. And then you look at Tyler Perry again, broken home. And you see what they've accomplished, the resilience, just the tenacity to just go for what they wanted to go for. Smart people. And now so loved by everybody. I mean, because they contributed so much to the country, to the culture, to television, in Tyler Perry's case, in Oprah's case too. So I would have them. I want to just learn from them.
What would you serve?
I don't know. I think I wouldn't serve any food.
Just drinks?
I think just drinks and let's just chat.
I think that would be
Yeah,
cool.
because I want to hear some more stuff, you know. Reading Becoming by Michelle Obama was really interesting and how she integrated into the White House. So more of that, maybe some behind the scenes stuff that she hasn't talked about would be very interesting to hear and learn about. Oprah kind of does her own thing, but she's very spiritually grounded. Just to understand, how do you remain that way with all of what you're responsible for? Because I feel like sometimes you drift away from your center when you are given so much or you're praised so much. How do you stay centered? Are you centered? You know, and all this. And Tyler Perry, same thing. You know, how did you get the strength to continue? I know he's going to talk a lot about his faith because he's, you know, a very faithful person. But how do you get through all the no's and still manage to be...
And be okay.
Okay,
and,
a billionaire.
And push.
And push. So, I would like to talk to those three. How about you, Suzanne? Who would you like to
My
have
3
dinner with?
would be my dad, Corey ten Boom, and The Rock.
I don't know Corey ten Boom.
What's that?
So she is, her book, she wrote a book called The Hiding Place, and she was alive during the Holocaust, and her whole experience through that, and the experience through in her book, she talks about her family and what all they went through, what they did, and anyhow, it goes about when she was in a camp, and the guard and the things that the guard did and how he treated her, and then years later, she meets this guard.
Wow.
And she forgives him, and that's a big one. Like, how did you go from I don't know if I could, so much suffering and everything that this person put you through to a place of forgiveness. Like, I would want to ask, how did you do that? And I know how she, you know, it's through Christ.
Yeah.
But still, though, how did you navigate through that, I guess, because it would be a process. I don't think like, oh, I forgive him and that's it. I think it would be a process. And
Absolutely.
how was that process? My dad, because I didn't grow up with my dad. We got reconnected when I was in my 30s, and he passed away 10 years later. And I never asked him about the past. I was afraid to touch it. I never asked the whys, the hows. And I would want to sit down and ask him. And I regret that I didn't ask him. And for those out there that have relationships that are kind of complicated, ask. Because I regret it. And I wish I would. And I didn't, because it's a really hard subject to say, you know, why did you do this? Why did you not do this? And he didn't, you know, I'll have time, I'll ask later, and then, you know, I didn't get a chance. So that would be a third person.
That's a good one.
I mean, a second person. And the third person would be The Rock. I think like Dwayne Johnson, it would be super fun. He's the hustle. He likes to hustle, and has tons of businesses. He came from poverty as well. His parents were not rich. I
don't know, because his father was pretty famous and popular.
But they were, well, I'm going by the show, and I'm thinking that it has to do a lot with real life. So when you watch his show, he did things, you know, like he shoplifted because he didn't have money for tennis shoes, and he did things that were not. So his dad was kind of up and down. He had good times wrestling and then bad times wrestling. So he came from a complicated household, loving, but there were things that were difficult.
Yeah.
And I would want to know, like, how do you hustle so hard and stay and came on top? And, you know, he's still hustling. He's flying. And I just want to pick at that business brain and that thrive that he has for just keep going, don't give up, don't, you know, and he wanted to play football, couldn't play football or didn't get drafted, and just all of that. When you have dreams and your dreams are shattered, but you just, instead of going this way, you might kind of go this way. And I think it would be a really interesting
he did a good job. I mean, he went to another hard career, acting, where you're not guaranteed anything.
Nothing.
And he's a former football player, acting.
Yeah. and then you can just look at him.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, he's not bad on the eyes.
And I would love to go to the, I think it's called Iron Gym, his gym, and do a workout with him.
I think you said love too long.
Love. To do a workout would be awesome. Like,
wow.
I couldn't keep up with him. Why, girl? When he's going like this, he's
I know that's right.
squatting with him, and I'm like, oh, I can't. My
it's
shoulders
funny because
so
I know you. So I didn't know you like The Rock like that, but as much as I love Prince, I just wanted to work for him. I didn't want to marry him or like.
I want to marry him.
No,
I know what you mean. Like,
I
it was interesting because when you go on a cruise, they have Carnival has Love and Marriage in the game, and they'll ask you questions. And one of the questions was, "Who's your celebrity crush?" So John and I were kind of practicing, and he said, "For me, he would choose The Rock." And I said, "No, I don't see him like that. Like I don't see him. Oh, I mean, he's super, super cute and super sexy, but not like that. Now, there's other ones that I would." But I think maybe I have like this different kind of respect that I can't cross that boundary where I think he's like that.
Right, I get it.
Yeah, I get
it.
And what was your short serve?
Yeah. Oh, what would I? Okay, well, I have The Rock. It would have to be his cheat meal. No, it's gonna be his cheat meal day. And I know he likes like big things. So maybe The Rock, my dad, and Corey.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we can. I was gonna say pizza, but that may not work. Thanksgiving. Maybe we could do some cheeses and wines and carb like pastas. I don't know. I would. Oh, I know. I would do a charcuterie board.
Okay.
Yeah, a charcuterie board would be fun. And then some type of lean protein, maybe some steaks. Yeah.
Okay, steak.
I think that would be great.
Oh, yeah, I know
Or
what you would do.
skewers or something.
Yeah, I'm going to say kebabs.
Kebabs on the board and fruits and veggies. Yeah, that would be a good one. Some wine.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, but no. He likes tequila. He has his tequila brand.
Oh, I didn't know.
I
that.
am really
I didn't
giving
know
a what do you call it? A plug here for the rock.
You are. It's okay. You like the
I
ride.
will have to hashtag his
I
tequila
didn't even
brand.
know.
But yeah, tequila. Well, I follow him on Facebook and his Instagram. So he's pretty active.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's why you
Oh,
know
wow.
this stuff. I know.
You
I'm not a
do
stalker.
like The
No, I'm not a
Rock.
stalker. But yeah. Anyhow,
You're
that's
not-
who I would pick.
You're not a stalker. Absolutely not.
Oh. Okay. I think
Just
we
follow
did
him
the
on
dinner.
Instagram, Facebook, and X. And you promote his tequila.
I know, I just promoted his Terramana. I don't even know the name.
That's
This is terrible. Okay, keep it moving.
funny.
The last set of questions or question is it's a fun and imaginative scenario. So, I came up with this one. I like this one. If you were a criminal, this would be a fast one. If you were a criminal, what would you be and why?
I'll let you answer that.
I'll
Yeah.
start this one. You guys want to? If I were a criminal, okay. So have you ever watched White Collar?
Yes.
White Collar.
I haven't.
What is? I forget his name.
I forget his name
Yeah.
too.
I know his last
him
name
in
is
the car.
Bomer. Anyhow, cute as can be. Oh my goodness, he's cute.
He's
I need to
He's
watch it.
so stinking cute. But anyhow,
I like.
I would be what he is. I would be a white collar criminal. Heists, bank heists, art.
Money laundering.
I don't know about money laundering, but I guess you have to
What's
launder
the
your
difference
money.
between money laundering and bank heist?
Well, you have to clean but so money laundering,
Yeah,
you're cleaning
cleaning.
the money. I would pay somebody to clean my money.
So you would do it.
Yeah. So I would like to do that. Oh, okay. I would like to do that. But I just think that his life is so interesting. They drink the best wine, the best cheeses, they travel, and you're not killing anybody. And you're not really hurting anyone because it's mostly rich people.
You know what? I saw a
Is that
movie.
fair?
But you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. That's interesting because you have to be really smart because I saw a movie.
And they're super smart.
I saw a movie recently with Sandra Bullock and Rihanna was in this movie. All right, and I'm being honest with you. That's the only reason I looked at it because I love her. She reminded me of one of my nieces.
Oh.
Anyway, and what they did was they were robbing this. Was it a museum or whatever? they
Oh,
were
was it
robbing.
Oceans?
It was something, but
It's
like it was
it's
like
the
the Ocean
female
Fair.
yeah.
It's the female version.
It's the female
of those
version
Ocean
of it.
movies.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
You know,
Ocean's
the one with
11.
George Clooney,
Yeah,
Brad
it's a
Pitt,
female.
and
Mhm.
okay, them.
Anyway,
Okay, but
yeah.
yeah. But what I found interesting was towards the end. Now I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not a TV person. I'm not a movie person. I mean, but the TV be looking at me. But what I found interesting was at the end because they had like 6, 7, 8 people involved. Okay, and everybody did their part. Okay, to steal. Well, at the end, they stole more because Sandra Bullock and the other person that they were dealing closer with each other, all right, they went the extra step. And that took me out. Okay, so instead of, I don't remember because I wasn't really focused on the movie. So instead of them it being, $50 million, I'm just saying, I don't remember what it was, right? It was like 2 or 3 times more than that. Okay, and I said that takes brilliance.
And that's like the I don't know
love
if
it.
you remember the last episode of White Collar. It was kind of something like that. I don't want to give it away, but it had a
I
twist
need to watch it.
to it. It's really good, but I think that the brilliance of learning how people react, what would people do? Like I find myself now, if I'm sitting in a doctor's office, I'll look at people to try to study them and see, could I pull something off? I don't know, not to do a crime, but could I pull off talking to them and saying something that would shock them about themselves? It's mostly observation. That's what.
Yeah.
So, and then it takes planning, but I just think the thrill of planning a heist and pulling it off. Like I don't even have to keep the money. I think it would be interesting. Now, don't send me any messages about no harm. I'm not. Look, my fear is jail. I am terrified of going to jail. I don't ever want to go to jail. That's why I don't break the law. So I'm not planning on going to jail. It's just, hypothetically speaking. Do you all have any? Nothing? No hypothetical crime?
I don't.
No.
Oh, you're
I
too
don't want to be a
good.
criminal.
You're too good. Okay, since you didn't answer this question, I'm gonna ask
but-
one last question.
But to say, I will say this, right? I mean, I like what you said, all right, because I like smart people.
They're smart.
I like smart
And I
people.
hate to say it, but they're smart criminals.
And like I said, to come, in other words, you thinking they thought way outside the box. You know what I mean? And I like people that can think outside the box because a lot of times we are typical. You know what I mean? We're typical in what we do, our responses, whatever. And when you got, those type of scenarios going on, it's like they on top of it. They think of like
and they can
oh my
cover.
gosh, I
It's
love
amazing.
it. Okay, so yeah.
So this is the last one, and it's kind of, let's make it a yes or no.
Yeah.
If you want to say why, like a quick why, but and then we'll wrap it up. This will be the last one. It's the book one. So you find a book, as you keep reading it, you discover it's actually about your life. You get to the point where you are right now, today, here, sitting on this podcast. Do you flip the page and keep reading it, or do you stop?
Stop.
You stop?
I stop.
I'm gonna stop.
You're gonna stop?
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do. I think I would be too curious to stop reading it. I might go like this, like a quick flip.
When you read it, then you didn't stop.
I would do a quick flip, I think. But
Quick flip.
Yeah.
No, I would stop.
You would stop? You don't want to know?
Mm-mm.
You don't want to know?
I'm good.
I wouldn't, and I'm gonna say this to you. Like earlier this year, I had some blood work done, right? And so, there's an app called, My Chart, and I get the results and everything.
Oh,
And
that's
and I didn't want to know.
You didn't want.
I didn't want to know. I wanted to wait until the doctor called me, or nurse, not the doctor, the nurse called me and tell me like whatever. And I remember Suzanne.
I kept asking you to check it.
And I said, I mean, because I love my chart. I really do.
And I even offered to check it for you.
And then Suzanne said, hey, check it. And I'm like, no.
She did not check it.
I did not check it,
When I get home, I check my chart when I have blood work and stuff. I want to know.
And it was all good. I mean, it was all, it was all good, whatever. But the point is that, as we were talking about this question, it was like, no, I didn't want to know.
Well, that's a good place to close out. To say that
so I don't know
where you are.
Yeah.
And
What
for
experiences
me,
we have,
it's just trusting God. Like, I trust His plan for me. So I don't need to go further than where
And if
I
He
am.
wanted us, that's a good point. And if He wanted us to know, He would tell us, I guess.
That's
Well,
right.
yeah,
That's right.
So we
yeah,
don't.
He told us a lot of it.
And bottom line is that could you handle it?
And that's what John said. So I asked John this question last night, and he said he would keep reading, and I said, really, why? Because he would want to know. And then he said, then he followed with this question. He said, but would it change the course? No, would knowing change the course of the outcome?
Exactly.
Would you tweak it?
Mm-hmm.
Then will we be out of God's will?
Exactly.
Like I don't know.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's it.
But
That's
yeah.
it. Okay.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our hypothetical huddles. This was pretty
I like
interesting.
it. Hypothetical huddles.
It gets you to learn a little bit more about ourselves and how smart and wise and fun and we are. But thanks for watching and silly. We're
And
we
reading.
have fun. Yeah, we're fun. And I will catch you next time. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.